What's up, Deborah?
Not much. Decided to do it in the office area.
I figured this was less 100 things around in here than in the actual part of the gym. So
yeah, I was gonna say with the station setup, it's a little crazy.
It's a little congested in area. So I was like, well, this at least has a nice like carpet and some like open space where we can be. So yes, it was easier than clearing a space in the gym.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling closer to 50 than closer to 40.
Oh.
Closer to 50. Yeah. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun?
Like shit.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your ankle doing?
Just slowly getting better, you know, walking the dogs, doing all the normal stuff, just at a slower pace. But I used our board to kind of slant board to stretch it out last night. Yeah. And around 2 a.m. this morning, it just started throbbing. I was like,
oh no.
Like, oopsie, I pushed it, and I didn't even do it that long or that much, but yeah, it was enough to make it mad. So
enough to anger it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we might do some calf work today just to kind of maybe give it some relief. Maybe keep it from seizing up on you completely.
It actually, I had calves cramp in the middle of the night last night too. So,
did you? Yeah. That's no fun. No fun at all. Yeah, so I thought we might do a little like kind of calf work. And we can always do opposite foot. You could do one foot the whole time and we could do, you know, not do the actual foot, but we'll see. We'll see where it takes us, but I figured we'd at least do some calf. I don't know. I don't know if I would roll the foot right now. It's still bruised. But we can at least get your calf going at the very least. So yeah. And then maybe do just some mobility on the feet and ankle and knee and stuff. To kind of get everything moving through it. Everyone needs foot stuff, right? Like that's just kind of a standard procedure. Everyone needs foot stuff. Yeah. They don't know they need foot stuff, but everyone needs foot stuff.
Should I leave compression on or take it off?
Maybe leave it on for now.
Okay.
And then once we start the mobility stuff, then take it off. Okay. Just to keep everything flowing upward.
Yeah.
We have like 4 people signed up outside of you guys, but maybe it'll just be us. We'll just have a nice little session with us today.
Maybe they forgot it was at 9:30.
Maybe they forgot. Well, that was my thought. I was like, people who don't normally come, and I'm like, maybe because it's at 9:30 they signed up, and maybe they forgot it was at 9:30. Who knows? It's all good. We'll get started though, and if they join us, they join us. So I'm working with the camera in here. If the angles are all off, I apologize. I'm not used to having the camera in here, so we're just gonna have to deal with how far away it is.
We'll stay on audio so you can hear Ed grunting too.
Nice. Feedback is good. Feedback is a good thing. This is gonna be fun on this brightly colored carpet. I would suggest having a block of some sort. It just makes rolling the calf a little easier if you have a block. We should test retest. So let's test retest. Let's just do dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Just general range of motion to see how it feels. I'll turn to the side so you can kind of get an idea. So go ahead and pull your toes towards your shin and then give them a nice point. If you have something to go up against, like if you can put your feet up against a wall, sometimes that's kind of nice to get an idea of how far you can actually dorsiflex your feet. Or you can just go for feel of it. Like how do your ankles and calves feel through dorsiflexion and flexion? And then Deborah, I would be careful with this, but go for eversion and inversion. So turn your soles of your feet away from each other and then turn the soles of your feet towards one another. Deborah, yours is going to be small, and that's okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, it barely moves.
Nothing wrong with that, but for the rest of us, or anybody who watches this later, just get an idea of where that's at on you and how those feet and ankle are feeling. And that's just going to be our simple check, recheck. Oh, let's check, recheck a forward fold too. Since we're just sitting here, nothing fancy, just reach forward, fold forward. Like this is me on a good day of a forward fold. I don't forward fold well. Never have, but this is where I'm at right now. And just get a sense for that, how that forward fold is. I can feel my shoulders are all tight from screaming at everybody out there with the loudness. What's up, Christina? And then we will grab our block and grab your set of balls, whatever balls you're going to use. I'm going to detote and just use a single ball. A single ball, though, if your calves are feeling super cranky, a single ball might be too much, in which case grab a peanut or a toted set of balls. A toted set of balls in a sack. And I like to have to set the ball on. It just makes it a little easier once you get yourself set up. The block, of course, is optional. It just adds a little extra pressure, creates more pressure, which for me is always a good thing. And then we're gonna start just by zigzagging the length of the calf. Now, as you go up and down, also kind of tilt your leg outward and tilt your leg inward to get all the way to the outer part of the calf, and then working your way around, getting to the inner part of the calf. Keeping in mind, if you're like me and on a block, that you're not rolling the ball off the block, but trying to keep it on the block. Do realize that your calf goes all the way up to the whole backside of the knee. So do go to the very top and come back down. And begin to notice where your tension is. Like I can feel a clump of tension right here on the outside as that calf gets closer to the femur, closer to the knee. And I can feel a big knot of tension right down here at the bottom, kind of the bottom inside, which is probably for me actually, as opposed to gastroc, it's probably more soleus. But get a sense of where your tension is as you're doing that. And then you're going to locate one of your tension spots. So me, I'm going to start down low because I personally know that being down low for my calf gives it more release than working the up high. So I'm going to bring that ball down low. And I'm going to find a spot that is kind of tender. And this for me is a spot that's kind of tender. Yours might be different and you might be up high, and that's okay. But find a spot based upon your tension pattern there. And then I'm going to add a little extra pressure and actually cross my legs. And then we're going to do some point and flex of the toe, plantar flexion and dorsiflexion of the foot, trying to create a little bit of release in that calf. Now, obviously, Deborah, with your spring, you're going to take this very easily, and you don't necessarily have to move the foot. You can just hang out on the spot and create a little scrubby motion. So Deborah has sprained her ankle, so moving her foot is not a good idea. So scrubbing, or if your foot is super cranky, perhaps coming into a little bitty scrub on that tender part might feel quite nice. All right, we'll take just another breath on wherever this first tender part for you is. And then find another spot. And for me, I'm going to take it to, instead of the inside of that soleus, I'm going to bring the ball more towards the outside. So I'm more towards my lateral calf here, taking it to the outer part of that soleus, that deeper calf muscle. And for me, that's like, I was like, oh, I didn't realize how much that one is tender, but right there in that particular spot, I'm like, oh yeah, that feels a lot. I am going to stack up just because I'm a glutton for punishment. Stack that up there, And then once again, I like to point and flex the foot here. But also coming into a scrub, for me right now, actually the scrub feels better. So I'm gonna scrub it out and kind of just small little inch up, inch down, trying to create some space in this part of the calf. As if you are also kind of working more towards the lateral portion of your calf, I will forewarn you to be careful. There is a rather superficial nerve that runs on the outside of the calf. So if you get any tingly electrical sensations, just move to a different spot. You don't want to irritate that nerve. And depending on your particular anatomy, like I'm more prone to hitting it. That's why I point that out, because mine is rather superficial. And as I roll the outer calf, I will run into it. It's like, oh, not that spot. That's not good. That's a nerve. And that actually, for me, released quite well. So now I'm going to find just one more spot in my calf. I'm going to move it up, and I'm going to come up towards where I found this kind of outer tension on this outer upper calf is where I'm going to go. Yours might be different. You might stay down low and kind of aim towards center. You might spend a little more time if you found a particularly cranky area. It's up to you what you're doing here. I'm pointing out the spots where mine are just to give you an idea and maybe be like, oh no, I'm not alone in that pain. We all have spots in our calves that are quite terrible. It's just a matter of finding them. And I have one here. So I'm going to hang out for a breath because this one feels a little different, a little less sharp than those down there. So I'm going to give this a breath to see if I can let the muscle just kind of release from within. So I'm going to take some breaths and attempt to actually just let this muscle release from the inside out. Like, can I mentally think about it and allow that muscle to relax around the top of the ball? Sounds kind of corny. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it doesn't. This one is being quite stubborn. It did go a little bit, but it's not going to quite go all the way. So I'm going to take this foot and I'm going to circle my foot now just because of the placement of my ball. I feel like circling will give me a better idea of where and how to release that tension. Circle the ankle one way, maybe circle the ankle the other way. And that circling is doing good for mine. Mine is slowly kind of, yeah, it's letting go, which is kind of nice. Maybe yours is too. Maybe yours needs more of a point and flex, in which case take it there. And then we will let that go. All right, let's move on to the other calf, and then we're going to come back and do a different roll because we're not going to run out of time. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We're going to get through it. I'm always like, oh, this rolling feels good. Let's just keep going. And then like 20, 30 minutes later, we're still rolling. And I'm like, oh no, we should move. Okay, as we start the other calf, working from the top of the calf all the way down to the bottom, same thing. Begin with a zigzag roll. As you zigzag that roll, let the hip roll in and out so that you're working from the lateral calf to the medial calf and back. This is kind of a warm-up roll, but at the same time, it's an exploratory roll. It's to give you an idea of where your tension is on this side. It might be very different than the other side. Might be the same. For me, on this left side, the upper calf feels more tender, but I can still feel a block of tension in that soleus, that kind of lower, deeper calf muscle. I can feel a nice band of tension running through it. All right, once you feel like you've explored your calf, you have an idea of where you want to put the ball, go ahead and find the spots. For this particular calf, I'm not going to go quite as low. I'm going to go almost to the middle of the calf, but not quite, just because that's where my tension is. I can feel like a rope of something that's angry in there. And so I'm going to set the ball up in my tension spot. Yours can be different, but hopefully you found something. And then I'm going to stack my other calf on top just to add a little more pressure. You don't have to stack yours. If it's too much or you're using really hard balls, mine are slightly softer than a lacrosse ball. So If yours are harder, you don't have to stop. And then we're going to point and flex the foot. See if you can let that relax. And if the pointing and flexing isn't working for you, you can always come into that little scrub, that little up and down, just a small little scrub. But for this spot, for me, pointing and flexing seems to be the better deal. And as I do this, I can feel that this tension on me is moving down and out. So I'm going to take a moment and move the ball down and outward just a little bit, because I can feel that kind of that tension pattern creeping that way as I'm rolling on it. So if yours dissipated, if yours kind of released, move on to another spot. Otherwise, see if you can feel if the tension is moving in a direction, and if so, maybe follow it. Coming back to these spots, and then maybe pointing and flexing, maybe coming into a scrub. See what your body is calling for today. This one's creeping around on me. It's wanting to change positions. All right, and then we're gonna find one more spot. I'm gonna put mine down. I'm not gonna do the top of this one. I'm gonna put it down kind of right towards the ankle, right in the center, and give that some love. This is my left side, and I know my left calf is always more stiff than my right. So getting down lower on it for me is a good idea. I will stack it up, maybe find some ankle circles, maybe a point and a flex. Feel it out for yourself to see what kind of feels good, what your body's calling for. If something feels more right, go for it. And then I've walked on, there's like a really intense spot, so I'm just gonna hang out and breathe on it. Since I found it, it's like, let's see if we can let that go. We'll give this just another 10 to 15 seconds, another couple breaths. And then we will let that go. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of ball stacking here. I think we've done this before. I'm not sure if we've done it since we've been on video, but I feel quite certain we've done this in class. I'm not sure how this is gonna come across in video, but we're gonna try it. So, you what? Were you talking to me? No.
I'm sorry.
He's talking to himself. He forgot we're not on mute.
It's good. It's good. Just do unmute and yell at me, or keep yourself unmuted. Have a conversational class. It's perfectly fine. All right. Palpate the inside and outside of your calf. You'll feel your tibial bone right on the inside here, your shin bone. And I want you to dip just on the inside of it. So just on the medial side, you'll feel it turns to meat. And as you run your finger up and down that, it might feel, for me, kind of burns. It's a little bit of a burning sensation. But there's also some spots that feel pretty sore. So I'm going to take a ball. I'm going to take a set of balls underneath. And you can do this with just one ball underneath. And what this is going to do is kind of push that meat that lives behind that tibial bone more up towards the top. I'm going to set myself up here. And the secondary ball is going to come just on the back side of that tibia. So I'm in that little crevice where our posterior tib muscle lives. And I'm going to dig this ball in here. And I can feel right there at the top, like it's pretty gritty. Been doing a lot of running with the TCS at home, and so it makes my calves, like it's particularly this posterior tib muscle, quite cranky. I like to get the ball in there Personally, twisting it, I find gives some relief. So if you can grab the skin, grab the tissue and create a little bit of a twist and hold that twist, for me, that creates, allows the muscle to release a little more. Now, as I mentioned, I have a really superficial fibularis nerve on the other side. And so I have to really pay attention to where those outside balls are. So just be careful with any electrical feelings running on the outside of the foot. Now, if yours is not feeling too crazy, you can always take the ball and literally slowly travel it down the inside of that tibia and let the ball just go down and kind of clean out all that area around that muscle. And then we'll bring it down just a little closer to the ankle. Deborah, if you're working on your hurt ankle, don't really do this. But as we get down closer to the ankle, work on the inside, once again, of that tibia. But keep in mind, you're also hitting all those tendons of the soleus, coming into the Achilles tendon a little bit, giving yourself a little bit of relief right here where all that musculature comes together. Just following along that bone. And then we'll switch sides. We'll take it to the opposite side, same thing around two. Setting yourself up. Once again, find that crevice inside of that tibial bone. So your shin bone right here, find the crevice on the inside, set the balls up on the outside, and then bring in your singular ball and roll it down the inside of that tibia bone, trying to find that crevice. And if, like me, you find a spot that's quite tender, this is not near as bad on my right as it was on my left. But if you find a spot that's tender, dig the ball in and find some twisting. I do find the twisting of the ball creates a different type of relief, and allows, for me at least, allows that muscle to relax just a bit more.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Mine is really tender, and this is usual for me, right up by my knee. Should I bug that at all, or should I leave that alone? It kind of feels fragile. I don't know.
If it feels super fragile and it feels like, if it feels injury, then move down just a little bit. Don't go quite on it. There are bundles of nerves that come out of the back of the knee. So you may be getting close to a nerve, or you may be in a spot that's actually like a little too tender to work with, in which case just work a little south of it. And don't go quite right on it. You'll still give it some relief, hopefully, but without like irritating it further. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. If it ever feels fragile, like if I push on this more, it's gonna break. We say, you can move uptown, downtown, or around town. So you don't have to roll right on the spot. You can roll above it. You can roll below it. You can roll kind of next to it to kind of create relief for that super tender spot without irritating it. So you don't have to be directly on the irritation in order to relieve it.
Thanks. That's really helpful.
Yeah, of course. I forgot where we were, but just working your way down this part of just clearing it out. It's good. It's good. I'll also point out that if you know which side is worse for you, like if your left side, for me, my right side calf hurts worse than my left most of the time. By working my right side calf hurts more often. By working my left side first, it begins to create relaxation in my right. So when I get to my right, as I do it the the second round, it allows that right side to already be kind of relaxed, just with how the brain works. So if you work the unhurt or uninjured or unstiff side first, you'll create relaxation in the stiffer side before you begin working on it. So you'll kind of get a double the effect. All right, let's bring it down because I kind of lost track, and it's good. We'll just bring it down closer to the ankle. Deborah, if this one is your bad side, don't bring it down closer to the ankle. But we're gonna just get that low soleus gastroc where all that Achilles tendon, the meat that creates the Achilles tendon kind of all comes together. And we're just gonna work all that musculature in there, right along the tibial bone as well. Keeping in mind your bone is tissue. It does reshape and reform itself every 7 years. So being okay with allowing the ball to roll on the bone as long as you're not bruising. All right. And then we will let that go, set the balls off to the side. Set yourself back up, and we'll just go through the ankle range of motion again. So putting your feet out in front of you, plantar flexing and dorsiflexing. Noticing, like mine feels smoother for sure, and I think I'm getting a lot more plantar flexion now than I was to begin with. Dorsiflexion for me is harder to tell. And then if it feels okay, invert, evert, turn the soles of the feet towards one another, turn the soles of the feet away. And then we'll let that go. Okay, we're gonna do just some very gentle feet stuff to begin with. Deborah, you're gonna take this in a range that's gonna work for you. One foot may move more than the other, but the hurt foot, just allow it to move a little bit. So we are gonna pretend our feet are a big flipper or a big paddle, and we are gonna take them through a big circular motion. Both of them moving in coordination at more or less the same rate. Deborah, yours is gonna be very small, but you're just gonna attempt to create some circles, moving in coordinated circles with the feet. And then we'll switch directions, go the opposite way. And then we'll let that go, shake that out. All right, now we're gonna do foot coordination as in toe flexion and toe extension. Can you just flex the toes and just extend the toes? Make just the toes do the flexion and extension. It's like waving high at the camera. No, feetsies. Okay, totally entertaining myself, it's fine. We're going to curl the toes in. And Deborah, you're gonna do this very softly, but curl the toes in and then point the foot. And then you're going to pull the toes back, but the foot's still pointed. Pull the toes back, extend the toes, and then dorsiflex the foot. So curl the toes in, little foot fist, point the toes, flex the toes, or extend the toes, pardon me, extend the toes, and then dorsiflex the foot. Toes, foot fist, point, extend the toes or make a little Barbie foot, and then dorsiflexion. Toes, point, Barbie foot, dorsiflexion. Foot fist, point, Barbie foot, dorsiflexion. Foot fist, point, Barbie foot, dorsiflexion. And then we're gonna reverse it.
No.
So
Wow.
direction. Of course, it's directions, but go slow, Deborah. Don't hurt yourself. Okay. Toes are
Foot is dorsiflex. Now you're going to try to keep the toes extended as you point the foot. So you're trying to find that Barbie foot. Toes are extended, but your foot points. And then you point the toes or flex the toes. And then you keep the toes flexed, foot fist, and then you extend the toes. So the hardest transition for most people here is keeping the toes extended as you point the foot. Can you keep the toes extended as you point the foot? Can you point the toes now? Whole foot points. Now keep those toes flexed and dorsiflex, little foot fist, and then extend the toes. Let's do one more time. Point, Barbie foot, point, foot fist, dorsiflexion. 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 And then let it go. Shake it off. Let it relax. All right. Hopefully your feet now feel warm if they weren't already. Let's bring it up to standing. Let me figure this out. Figure out. Okay, here we go. We're here. Let's do this. All right. Let's bring it up to the knee, and we're going to do some knee circles. So I'm going to step my right foot forward, and I'm going to attempt to create a big circle with my knee while my foot stays flat on the ground. Knee turns in, knee dips into that valgus position, knee turns out, knee straightens. Knee turns in, knee bends, knee turns out, knee straightens. Big circle with that knee. Keeping in mind that a lot of the muscles that go down to the ankle actually start in the knee or end in the knee. And then we'll switch directions, go out, external rotation, then bring it into valgus, then straighten it, then turn it out. Try to keep your whole foot planted on the ground as you do this.
What if
Big.
your toes try to scrunch?
You what?
What if your toes try to scrunch?
Mine are actually doing that exact thing. They're really trying to scrunch, and I just noticed it when you said it. So try to let your toes relax.
Yeah.
Can you let the knee be doing the work while the foot is as relaxed as possible? The foot doesn't have to work here. So can we let it relax? And when I think about it, I can, but I do have to think about it. Okay, let's let that go. Try the other side. For me, my left is forward. We're going to start by turning in, coming into that valgus position. Just take that awkward valgus position and then let the knee come out and then straighten it. And I can already feel now that Ed's lovingly pointed out, hey, my toes are scrunching. My toes are scrunching too here, and I really have to think to make those toes not scrunch. Or do something weird. Those middle toes of mine want to do all kinds of weird things, come to find out. Big knee circles. And then let's switch directions. Take the knee outward, external rotation. Come into the outward, bring it into that valgus, and then straighten. Going the opposite way. Out, valgus, straight. My knee on this side wants to avoid this transition. So I'm trying really hard to focus on allowing it to take that transition and being okay with it. No idea how long we did this on the other side. We're bound to be getting close. So we will let that go. Shake it off, let it go. We're going to very carefully work on the top of the foot. Deborah, this will work on the foot that's not injured. It might be okay on the foot that is injured. You just might need to pat underneath it and be very careful with it. But we're gonna take the foot straight back behind you. Let's start with our uninjured foot. Take the foot straight back behind you, directly back. So I'm right in the middle of my foot. I'm not rolled in, I'm not rolled out. My heel is hidden behind my ankle when I look at it in the camera. I'm gonna have my foot here, and then I'm going to bend through my opposite knee, which is gonna put a little more pressure onto that joint. And see if I can be okay with allowing that pressure to exist. Can I let that joint move in that direction? And then we're gonna change it. We're gonna roll to the inside. So now I'm more focused on my big toe side. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera well or not, but my big toe side is down on the ground. My foot is still flipped over. And then once again, I'm gonna bend through my opposite knee and try to create a little more pressure on that inner joint, that big toe joint. Can I let that joint move? And then we're gonna flip it over to the pinky toe side. So now, let's see, I'm rolling onto the outside of my foot. I'm on that pinky toe side. I'm slightly cross-legged, just a little bit. And then once again, I'm gonna bend through my knee and try to create some space in that outside foot joint. Then I'll let that go. Moving on to the opposite foot. Maybe. So Deborah, for you, I would just set it behind you and just see if you can let that stretch happen. I wouldn't do any of the other stuff. I would just see if you can just let the top of the foot stretch a little bit, just to get the range of motion. But for the rest of us, the top of the foot's gonna come down. Once again, my heel is hidden behind my ankle. I'm straight back and I'm just gonna bend into my opposite knee, trying to create some movement in this top joint of the foot. And then I'm going to take it out. So I'm on the big toe side. Once again, Deborah, you're not doing this. You're just gonna stick with that top of the foot stretch. At the big toe side, and then I'm gonna bend through my knee, allowing some more space hopefully to occur. Get that joint moving. This particular one is uncomfortable for me. My foot doesn't like it particularly. And then we're gonna roll to the outside of the foot. So I'm slightly cross-legged, but I'm on the pinky toe side of my foot. And then I'm going to bend through my knee and let that happen. And then we will let that go, shake it off, let your toes relax, let your foot relax just a little bit. And now we're gonna try to isolate. Let me see if I can move closer and put this down. We're gonna try to isolate our toes, okay? And everyone can do this. Can you lift that big toe off the ground and then set it back down? Big toe goes straight up, big toe sets back down. My big toe, instead of going straight up, wants to pull over onto the smaller toes. And I'm trying really hard to not let it do that, even though it wants to. I'm trying to fight that. I'm trying to get it to just lift straight up. Not working well, but trying to, can you just lift that big toe off the ground? Big toe isolation. Oh, I'm getting better. Getting better as I go. And as you do this, you might feel the front of your shins start to burn. Some muscles we haven't used. Okay, and then we're going to attempt to just lift the small toes. Can you just lift just the small toes off the ground? And once again, as you lift, you might begin to feel the front of your shins burn just a little bit as these muscles try to activate. Also notice if your hands are doing it too. And can you make your hands not do it and just have your feet do it? It's not uncommon. Okay, now that we have that down and everyone's doing it perfectly, of course, we're gonna switch between the two. So you're gonna lift your big toe, and then you're gonna lift your small toes. And then you're gonna lift your big toe. Nope, didn't do it that time. There you go. And then you're gonna lift your small toes. And then you're gonna lift your big toe, and then you're gonna lift your small toes. Go back and forth between the two. My left hand really wants to help my left foot. I'm working really hard to make my left hand not do it. You can't see it in the video because my hands aren't in it. Thank God, but my left thumb keeps giving everybody a thumbs up. It's like, yeah, pick up, please.
That's good.
Okay, one more. And then we'll let that go, shake that off. Be done with that. Last little bit. Let me see if I can get the camera right. Okay. So Deborah, you're gonna take this very, very carefully. The rest of us are just gonna go for it. So you're gonna roll to the inside of your foot and you're gonna walk on the inside of your foot, just the inside. You're gonna try to keep the outside lifted and just walk on the inside of your foot. You're more or less creating a differentiated trail as you walk, trying to get that outside of your foot to activate. And then we're gonna switch, and Deborah's definitely not gonna do this one.
Yeah, no.
You're gonna on the outside of your foot and try to walk on the outside of your foot.
I'll do the inside again.
Do the inside again, yes. Don't do the outside. That's how you rolled it. Not a good idea. Walking on just the outside of your foot. And then we'll switch it and you're just gonna walk on your heels. Can you just walk on your heels? Make the front of the shin really work.
This is the one where my hands want to help.
Yeah. Okay, and then we're gonna mix it up. So you're just gonna play with it, inside, outside. Surprise yourself. Don't plan it. Just kind of switch between the three. Inside, outside. Each foot doesn't have to be the same, because if you were to go walking on a trail, it would not be the same with each step. Each step would be a little bit different. And then a good thing to try, you have a wall or someone to hold your hands. A way to strengthen your ankles as well as stretch your ankles, so hopefully in the future you don't roll them, is to do a little, it's kind of a butterfly squat is what I'm gonna call it. I don't know if it has a name, but I've practiced it before. Deborah's definitely not gonna do this, but maybe something to think about when your ankle's better, and maybe she can hold Ed's hands. Christina, maybe you have a wall you can grab onto, but you stand on the outside of your feet, and then you attempt to come down into a squat, and then you press yourself back up. So you're forcing that outer ankle to not only stretch, but then you're forcing it to recover from the stretch. I said, just up. Christina's like, just going for it. Like, I don't need a wall. It's fine. It's good. That was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kevin, it reminds me of this thing we used to do when I did gymnastic bodies for a while, where you come up in like a spin on the outsides of your feet.
Yes.
And then come back down on the outsides of your feet.
Yes.
And it was super hard for a while, and then it got fun.
It gets better and it gets
really
fun.
challenging. Sometimes I do it with our get-ups just for fun.
It's for fun, yes.
Get-ups.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. Anything to put your ankles in awkward positions and then make them work will help with any ankle and foot issues you have, because you're strengthening all those little muscles that don't get used because we live in such a flat world. But work your way down to coming into, and this ground is too hard. It hurts the outside of my foot. But coming down as close to getting the butt as close to the heels as you possibly can, and then forcing yourself to come back up. Really good for your hips, your knees, your ankles. Obviously, you're not adding weight other than your body weight. But as you practice it more, if you look at like the FRC people and everything, people will add like a kettlebell and do like a kettlebell goblet squat in that position. So it is possible to strengthen it enough. Do you need to do that? I don't know. It's questionable, but you know, it's spraining your ankles happens, but as your ankles get stronger, you will sprain them less. So doing awkward movements as such as that awkward squat will help your ankles not roll as much. I notoriously was an ankle sprainer. And then I started doing more of this stuff and I don't sprain my ankles as much. I can recover that roll a lot better.
This is the first time I've done it. It's stupid.
Yes. And you're lucky then if this is the first time you've done it. I can't even count the number of times I've rolled my ankles. I probably have no actual tendons and ligaments on the outside of my ankle anymore, particularly that right side. So it's good if you've never done it before. This is the first one. It's not good, but it means your ankles generally are pretty strong, and that's a good thing. But some stuff to play with. There you go. There are the things. Thanks for coming. Next week we are at the same time. We're at 9:30 again, and then we're gonna have 2 weeks off. I say I'm gonna have 2 weeks off. You guys go do the videos. I'm going out of town, so there will be 2 weeks where we don't have recovery, and then we should be back that first weekend in December. So 9:30 next week, 2 weeks off, and then we're back that first weekend in December. But all the videos are in the TCS at home that we've been doing since we've been doing the videos. So pick what body part's hurting and still do your recovery because you have the videos for it. Might as well.
Right.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kevin.
you too.
Thank you.